Hi, Assalamualaikum everyone. My name is CT-00085 and I'm a student from UMS. So I would like to present my research entitled of Relationship Management and Fireflies Conservation in Class and Western, Beaufort, Sabah. Both Beaufort and Western are famous for its fireflies that dazzle visitors with their synchronized flashing patterns, also referred as jewel of the night. Tourists are ferried to the firefly habitats on speedboats or ferries. The firefly watching activities usually start on evening, and the tourists will have a dine-in on the ferry and went back to the city. Both areas shows a significant reduction of mangrove forests, which are the breeding ground of fireflies for over last 30 years. This could be due to the land conversion and unregulated development, thus affecting the life cycle of fireflies. Throughout the studies, I want to investigate local environmental attitude and perception towards the firefly watching tourism, their knowledge and awareness about firefly biology and ecology, and I want to see the relationship among the related stakeholders. Firefly watching activity has provided nearby communities in Kalias and Western with relative business opportunity. It serves as an alternative income generating activity and environmental conservation strategy among the existing stakeholders. One of the most vital but problematic area within ecotourism seems to be the relationship management among the stakeholders. Unfortunately, the dumping of garbage and toxic wastes into the riverbank over the years has taken a toll on the river ecosystem and is posing a threat to Clear's and western mangrove forests. This shows the extent in which unsustainable development affects flora and fauna. Ecotourism industry is related to numerous sectors, so it requires a close cooperation between stakeholders for its development. Relationship management has strategies and tactics to engage in sentiments, emotions, and provide the best remedies. It has strategic power to connect host and guests as it emphasizes on give back and take away tourism through incorporating guest hosts both in the process of conservation and utilization of various resources and skills available to them. Firefly species is not being listed any special status in IUCN Red List or for endangered species, nor in the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora. However, a number of literature and articles has been rising in the recent years due to the need to conserve for fireflies as shown on the slide. Likewise, the preservation of the vegetation and fauna in the mangrove ecosystem has been integrally linked to the conservation of firefly species, suggested the strong relationship of firefly and its surrounding natural habitat. The objective of this study is to highlight the significance of relationship management in fireflies conservation and ecotourism development that may help in tackling the conflicts between human and fireflies, human and human, and as well as in fireflies watching activities. This comprises of a significant impact to the livelihood of the local communities with the emergence of firefly tourism activity. Second, stakeholders threat to the firefly ecosystems. Third, issues and conflict among stakeholders. And finally, villagers' perceptions. The sample size for the study was determined by using small sample techniques to support the credibility of the sample size at the desired confidence level of 95%. For the study, the target population was firefly watching tourists in Sabah together with local community was calculated in a total of 40 Total of 423 respondents were collected. The survey question comprises of closed-ended questions, while for tourists a multi-language survey was provided to make it easier for them. Later on, the data were analyzed using SPSS and content analysis. Stated on the slide are the demography profiles of both local community and tourists in the study. Based on the analysis, it shows that most of the respondents believe that both conservation of fireflies and wildlife and development is important for a whole society development. However, percentage shows that the interviewers agree that conservation of fireflies and firefly are more important compared to village development. The restoration of natural habitat is crucial since wildlife and more specifically firefly species will experience extinction due to the modernization that will destroy its natural habitat. Thus, by preserving firefly habitat, you will conserve the firefly. Even though the nearby local community live within about 100 to 250 meters from the riverbank, they still not aware about this tiny little lightning bug. Based on the result, it shows that the majority of respondents are willing to conserve fireflies since it is an added value to the generation's existence, and it is one of the locals' native privilege which is not available in many other countries. To them, it is vital and necessary to be protected so that the next generation will be able to cherish and gaze upon the uniqueness of this insect. Thus, it would become a tremendous loss if no measurement and conservation act is done. Majority of respondents are willing to get involved in firefly conservation activity since they weigh about the importance in protecting and conserving firefly and its habitat, or else future generations are not able to experience the firefly existence. At the same time, being is one of the tourism attraction products, it gives an alternative economic benefit to the nearby local community over the years by the continuity of firefly watching industry. A well-protected habitat will ensure a breeding ground for firefly population. Thus, the habitat and ecosystem must be protected in order to conserve firefly before it keeps on declining and extinct in no time. While their well-loved fireflies appear to be declining, they face many of the same threats as other insects, including habitat loss and degradation, light pollution, exposures to pesticides, invasive species, and climate change. On the threats to fireflies, the respondents were generally right that a large crowd of tourists may not pose threats to fireflies, but they could not agree whether speedboat could be eroding the river bank, which eventually will pose a threat to the firefly ecosystem. Meanwhile, most of them acknowledge that tree cutting and poor water quality is the main contributor to the declination of firefly population in terms of habitat destruction, followed by development on the riverbank areas. While their well-loved fireflies appear to be declining, they face many of the same threats as other insects, including habitat loss and degradation, light pollution, exposures to pesticides, invasive species, and climate change. Majority of the respondents were not willing to pay for firefly conservation, since today there are agencies that are already responsible to protect those areas. For instance, the Sabah Forestry Department. Moreover, according to the community, the business operators should contribute since they are the ones that are making profit out of Firefly tourism too compared to the local operator. And for those who are willing to pay, the minimum price they are willing to pay is USD 0.23, while the highest would be USD 6.92. Previously, the average price that should be paid per head, which is being authorized by the Forestry Department, is USD 1.15, while the new charge has been increased to USD 3.46. This is not only a burden to tour agency but also to the community. A drastic number of tourists had declined prior to the new price implementation since the tourists preferred a much cheaper place compared to class. Since the bombardment of new Firefly watching places available closely to Kota Kinabalu, less tourists are coming to Beaufort these days, according to the tour operator staff. Based on the survey conducted, tour operators feel that it would be a waste to pay for natural attraction if the stakeholders would still disrupt the Firefly ecosystem. And lastly, the authority of tourism must evaluate current pricing scheme in order to set fees that reflect the market demand and that show how much users value the service offered by the protected area. Based on the content analysis, it shows that the majority of respondents know and understand that fireflies is specifically a flying insect, that it emits light from the body during the night time. This statement could be based on the respondent observation towards the presence of a firefly in the surroundings, but the details of fireflies' ecology and biology is still unclear. The issues that arise from firefly watching tourism in Sabah vary from environmental, economic, social, management, and local authorities issue. Moreover, the local are saying that the lack of capital and budget, lack of a commitment, and their need and abrogated facilities. And as for tourists, they're concerned about the safety and more diversification of tourism products. And from the perspective of tour operators of Portland, the rivalry among the operators is high, and the need of global network and also board association is needed. So some of the measurement that we could recommend is a sustainable maintenance for firefly population, a sustainable practice in terms of management, and a comprehensive master plan, and the firefly protein conservation should be developed in order to engage the related stakeholders in firefly ecotourism industries. Thank you.